Okay, well, writing these out, these are the squares of these numbers. When I add them up, I get 1.95 instead of 193. As I said, I'm more prone to making mistakes than I used to be. Okay? A little less working memory. And I know perfectly well that 6 and 9 add up to 15, and you get 5. But anyhow, that's not how I added them. Now, of course, this makes my 0.39 exact. Before it was only approximate, but these numbers are just approximate, right?
Yep.
So, there's a lot of uncertainty in my estimates, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there's uncertainty in your estimates. You won't consistently be able to estimate these accurate to a tenth, and you certainly can't estimate them accurate to a hundredth of a square, because the squares are really small. Okay. Now here, when I square these, I get 0.09, 0.81. So far that's 0.90, and then a 0.16, which brings me up to 1.06, and a 0.09, which brings me up to 1. Uh-oh, I forgot that one. Okay, 1.15, and a 0.16, which brings me up to 1.41, not 1.31.
Oh no.
I'm sorry?
I said, oh no.
Okay, so when I do this, I've actually got a 1.41, and this is a 0.28 instead of a 2.6, but it's still significant improvement, right? Now, how did the sum of the squares get smaller when the average distance was the same? Well, it's because, look at what happens. When I square the small numbers, they get tiny, don't they? Okay? Now, you see, when I went from a 1.1 to a 0.9, the square of 1.1 is 1.21. The square of 0.9 is 0.81, right? That's 4/10 less than this is. I got a big advantage here. And only for small cost with the small numbers, right? That makes sense? So you might want to kind of, review what I'm saying here. But I've reduced the square distances by a total of 0.4 by getting just a few small distances whose squares are really small, okay? And that's all I'm going to say about that, okay? But your first exercise and your homework is going to be to do this, okay? For a different set of data points. All right? And even if you got lines that go right through 3 of your data points, or 4 out of 6, you still have significant distances to the other 2. And if you just move a little bit, well, you gain distance on these, you lose distance on these. Okay, you get closer to these, further from these, right? But if you don't get much further from these, your square distances are going to be pretty insignificant. Okay? And the square distances to the further points are going to give you a big advantage. Okay, well, I could be more specific about that, but that's about all you want to hear. Okay? That's enough to get you started. Okay?